Hello.
I'm a path first. This is Ebenezer. I'm from Grambling State University. I'm here to present to you SmartSleeve. So I'm going to show you a video of Harold Perkins, our very own, and his dream of playing in the NFL this year got cut short off because of an ACL injury. So he was meant to go first round this year, but right now he's rehabbing at the school. So this is a huge concern, and the problem is happening to young athletes. Usually ACL happens to the older athletes. They have like 10 years, the vets, but now it's happening to the young athletes, and this is becoming a problem. And a study by the Athletics shows that the reason is even more prevalent in women is because they don't start sports very young, and when they do, their muscles, their ligaments are not used to the solid movements. And this is why, when they now start playing sports professionally, because of the impact, the sudden impact on your muscles, on your ligaments, on your tendons, they get this ACL injury. And this is costing the state of Louisiana a lot of money. Because think about it, it's not just the money on the surgery, it's also the money on the 6-8 months rehab that the players are going to undertake. And the biggest issue is that it's happening every year. It's increasing every single year. In the NBA alone, last season, there were 6 season-ending injuries. And this is becoming a huge concern. Now, we noticed that there are some preventive measures that sports science has been taking up. But most of the problem, or some of the problem, happens directly on the field. And that's where a solution comes in. This is where SmartSleeve comes in. It tracks the movement, solid movements. And it sends feedbacks to the coaches, to their doctors, on why did this happen, and how can we prevent it next time. And now, enough of the talk. I'm going to show you guys, we have a prototype. And I'm going to call him my third team member. He's from Grambling State University as well. And in 2021, he was number 1. His team was number 1 in the 4x100 relay race in Nigeria. His name is Iminabo Roberts. And he's with our prototype of SmartSleeve. So please, let's clap for him. So you can see on his leg, we have the prototype of the SmartSleeve with a sensor, the IMU sensor on it. And my teammate is going to walk you through how this syncs with our app. Let's start.
Thank you very much, Professor. SmartSleeve is basically tackling a specific problem that the industry or research and targets have left out in research. So basically, more research is being done on preventive measures and cures for ACL. But what we realize is that 58% of the time, yes, ACL can be prevented by what you do before the game and what you do after the game. But the 42% left is what happens on the field, and that is what SmartSleeve solves. So SmartSleeve, so this is a team overview of a particular team, and what you can do is you can click on a particular player's profile, and what we have is a knee flexion angle. So our application uses 2 main measurements: a knee flexion angle and a knee angular velocity. So the knee flexion angle is basically how your knee bends, the angle with which your knee bends measured in degrees, and then the velocity is the speed at which it bends. So with these 2 measurements, we calculate a risk factor and the risk factor determines whether you have a high risk of getting the ACL or a lower risk of getting the ACL. And we perform this to simulate a live something that is happening live as much as possible by using 10 seconds interval. So if a player is on the field and is playing, every 10 seconds we are going to read their movement and bring the feedback and signals back to the dashboard. So your coach could have this dashboard and could see a player that is getting close and close to getting an ACL on the field, and could see a player that is very far away from getting an ACL. And so when you see this team overview, for instance, you could see the players that have moderate risk of getting ACL, low and high risk of getting ACL, and the coach can accordingly act. One fantastic thing we also did was that we were able to implement AI in our solution, and we had two main uses of AI. We had AI generate a percentage score that determines how a player can improve on their ACL preventive measures. And we have insight. We use AI to present insights and next steps that the player can take. And these are very personalized. So based on your average knee flexion and your symmetry score, we give three main insights and next steps that a player can. So this player can reduce valgus angle joint landings by strengthening hip abductors. They can add balance board drills to improve stability and symmetry and maintain stiffness below 70% to minimize torque spikes. We can also compare how the player is performing to the average risk factor of the whole team. So this player, Jordan Taylor, is currently above or doing worse than the average of the team. So basically that is what our team was able to do. We have training mode and we have competitor mode as well. Competition mode is usually used to encourage players to try and do their best to compete among themselves and see who is doing well in terms of preventive ACL measures on the field. So basically that is what we have. The team analytics here also shows the overview of the current risk factors in the team. So we have a pie chart that shows the number of players that are risk prone and players that are very low risk prone. So I'm going to give it back to my teammate to continue the presentation.
So now we're going to talk about the market approach, and we're going to target schools. And because athletes, these young athletes, they start from school, and you can see that there has been a huge increase in school competitions. We noticed that this is even a huge problem in the NBA, where we see that a lot of players are doing what? Getting injured at a very young age, as because most of them start sports at a very, very, very young age. I'm talking about pro sports. We have people in college earning up to $1 million right from college, and this increases the risk factor of this ACL. So we start from the high schools, from the colleges. And two, we partner with clinics, sports science, sport doctors. These are the experts that are going to track this ACL metrics from the IMU sensors. Then also, we have to make it digital as well. Make awareness for everyone. People that are into sports, people that are into marketing, the sponsors, people that are also the ambassadors for these players as well. You can see some ambassadors, like let's say I'm a sport athlete for Nike, and Nike notices the way this team is treating my player, I'm going to step in and tell them, yeah, you guys have to be careful. So all these initiatives are what we're going to take into perspective to push this out there and make this very, very serious, because it's our players. It can be your son, it can be your uncle, it can be your cousin that is getting affected by this. So, yeah.